Welcome back to Romancing the Gemstones. I am Jamie G, at your service, master of margaritas, and I am here, right now, with the man, Magnum Mills, the man on the boat, to discuss the second episode of season four, the final season of the Righteous Gemstones, which has a very long title in this episode. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas. Are we here to talk about gemstones or the little man on the boat? I don't know.
Well, it depends. One of these conversations will take longer than the other, so we're going to go with brevity here. Get ready to work that poll with Romancing the Gemstones, presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Thank you very much for checking out our show. You can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember, press that thumb.
From this point forward, there are gonna be full spoilers for the show, for the Righteous Gemstones here. All episodes through season four, episode two, they're in play for our discussion, as well as any interviews, articles, after shows, Danny McBride being Danny McBride, Uncle Baby Billy, all of it. All right. All of it is on the line. We will probably talk about it. And if you don't know, now you know.
This is You Hurled Me into the Depths, into the very heart of the seas, season 4, episode 2, the 29th overall episode of Gemstones, originally aired March 16th, 2025, directed by Jody Hill. This is the 14th episode of Gemstones that he has directed. Written by, as all episodes in season 4 are, John Carcieri, Jeff Bradley, and Danny McBride. This is the 10th written by credit for the trio on Gemstones. Notable guest stars in this one include the kids, Kelton Dumont as Pontius Gemstone, Gavin Munn as Abraham Gemstone. Then you have James Dumont as Chad, Jody Hill as Levi, Troy Anthony Hogan as Matthew, and Jay LaRose as Gregory. The short plot synopsis. The Gemstone siblings look for their missing father as the yearly Amy Lee Gemstone birthday give-a-thon approaches. The family later meets up with Amy Lee's old friend, Lori.
Let's get started by applying our patented Ron's Left evaluation system to this episode. Mills, it's a simple evaluation system. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, and all of the Rons argue which one came up with it, but that's fine because we love our Rons. And just to recap, the system is, are you romancing it? That means you love the episode. Is it a one night stand? It means you like the episode. Or are you swiping left? You did not like the episode. That's the Rons left. And I was very tempted to go with the romancing it, but I'm going to stick with the one night stand here. Very funny, but for the most part, it's an episode that just has to get all the chess pieces in place. A lot of funny gags, but we saw a lot of them in the trailer, so I'm dinging it a little bit for that too. I think it set the stage really nicely for the rest of the season. Very funny episode. Obviously, Uncle Baby Billy is just doing everything all the time, no matter what, and it's great. We are there for all of it, but I'm expecting the season to do nothing but get better from here, so not quite ready to romance it yet, just going with the one night stand. Jamie G, how about yourself? How'd you feel about the episode as determined by the Ron's Left evaluation system?
Yeah, when it comes to Ron's and it comes to this episode, I'm romancing it, dude. I absolutely love this. It was hilarious. It's basically everything about Gemstones that I love in a single episode. It had the great lines. All the characters get work here. We get a new character. It's so the dialogue is just off the charts. You get a little action, you get everything in there. It's just peak Danny McBride, and every single character hits a home run, including our main man, Uncle Baby Billy. Oh man, I was gonna wear my Uncle Baby Billy shirt, Mills, but it's St. Patrick's Day. I had to wear green, so I couldn't wear it. But it's blue. But I will be wearing it in an episode in the upcoming future. He's the man. I loved it. I'm romancing it.
Well, by about this time on St. Patrick's Day, a lot of people are probably wearing the same kind of pants Uncle Baby Billy was wearing, the invisible pants. Let's not start there. That might be a little bit too much. Let's start out with the rehearsal where we open the episode. Once again, we got a bunch of that in the trailers. We get them with the angel wings and the jetpacks. That was fun. I did like how it all broke up. You get Kelvin flying off into the TV screen and Jesse just kind of being like pushing a circle on the ground. So I thought the visual gags of it were pretty good. I like that they get the whole family in. And of course, Uncle Baby Billy can break it down, right? They cut back up to him and he's getting his little boogie on. Overall, we get a fair amount of the jetpacks in this episode. I wish they hadn't spoiled it in the trailer, but I enjoyed it for the most part. Everyone's little intro was cool, all that kind of stuff. Any thoughts here on the little rehearsal bit we got to open the episode?
I thought it was cool just to get the gang back together here, and you get to see Amber and some of the, people that didn't really have a lot to do in this, the ancillary characters that didn't have a ton to do. They kind of all get in there, and it's a lot of fun. I thought the whole, kind of the the collapse of the jetpacks was hilarious, with McBride just spinning in circles and all of them kind of having their own issues with it. And then Uncle Baby Billy just, of course, like, trying to keep. He's like the director. He's everything, dude. He's just like. He's yeah, he's the man. I enjoyed it, Mills. I enjoyed it.
He's Tyler Perry, I believe. That's who he is. So at this
Yeah.
point, that's at least who his character. He's a mogul, JBG. He is a mogul. Let's stick with the family matters stuff here. Kevin and Keith, again, most of the prism stuff we saw in that scene, we got in the trailer, but we did get a little advancement here. It looks like Keith, he's ready to get out there more. He wants to be more public with the relationship. He even mentions marriage, something we maybe threw out there on our predictions. Meanwhile, Kelvin seems just be happy, right? He's finally like, he's sibling number one. He does not want to rock the boat. Did you like this? I mean, obviously, I think he's going to have to rock the boat at some point, but I was kind of okay with Kelvin at least getting to be number one for a minute here.
Yeah, I'm happy for Calvin, and him and Keith are just so cute, and it's very weird how they do it, but it works and it's funny, but it's funny in a way where you're not like making fun of it, like it's a good humor around it, I think. And they kind of nailed it. Like, you can do a lot with just the low-hanging fruit with with the two of them being gay or whatever. They really do a good job with it, I think. And I enjoy, because Kelvin on his own isn't really that funny, but where it works so well is you get kind of this goofy quirkiness with Keith, and then how Keith balances it out, I really think is the best version of Kelvin on this show.
100%. He is not a character that works very well by himself, and certain combinations aren't the best. Like him and Jesse can get a little bit too wacky at times. Same thing with him and Judy. So I
Right.
just feel bad. Keith doesn't get a lot to do, and even here, he's still taking off all of Calvin's rings and everything. So I know they're theoretically equals now, but it does seem like he is still doing maybe a little bit more than his share of the work around the house, and perhaps that explains the biceps.
Yeah, he's pretty right.
He's just doing everything here. I mean, they have a lot of trash around there, right? You're taking out the trash. I mean, you're getting real reps with that. Probably not a big shocker that Pontius got kicked out of military school, right?
No.
He doesn't have a lot to do right now, but he's got some potential. And I like the idea he really reminds you of a young Jesse, right? That's exactly, other than, in the flashbacks, it does seem like Jesse was better about working with the church and at least being somewhat, he had that going on a little bit from a young age. But other than that, Pontius is exactly who I imagine young Jesse Gemstone would be a little bit of a hellraiser, right? And that's even pointed out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he also got kicked out of school, I think, too, right? So, yeah, it's kind of funny. You start to see through Pontius and through Gideon, actually, too, with his relationship with Eli. You start to see Jesse kind of having this internal ego death with how he's going to handle his kids, right, and his family. And so I thought that Pontius was a perfect fit. But yeah, he's definitely like a little mini Jesse Gemstone, raising hell, breaking rules, being a rebel.
Yeah, of course you got to bring up the mentor stuff because you just love saying the word
I'm your
mentor.
mentor now. I'm your mentor.
But I think that makes sense because it seems that Jesse is upset that he wants to be Gideon's mentor, right? Like that's really important to him. But maybe, spoiler alert, this might be a prediction, but maybe it's really Pontius who needs him to be the mentor, right? And perhaps Gideon works better with Eli. There's nothing wrong with that. But it seems that maybe he's trying to, direct his attention to the wrong kid. Either that or cut your losses and just go down to Abraham, maybe. But
Right.
it seems like, and Pontius probably needs Jesse, right? Because they are similar like that. Kind of like how I think Gideon is more similar to Eli. So I think maybe they would just connect better. So wouldn't surprise me maybe if they go that route during the season. He kind of ineffectively tries to mentor Gideon, and then either by accident, default, or because someone is, probably Amber's like, dude, why don't you pay attention to the other kid, the one who actually needs your help? Like I feel like that has to be coming.
Well, and you're kind of onto it, because she kind of dropped that little clue where she was like, "Well, maybe we should listen to him and support him more, or something, or understand him." I forget what she said, but she kind of hinted at that a little bit when they're all, when they got out of the prayer pod, and Pontius, hotboxed it in there and ran them all out, which is also hilarious, and creative way to do a fart joke, I think.
Yeah, not too bad. I will say The prayer pod thing, I would think, is a bust, and they're definitely not utilizing this right. I know they're having trouble putting it places, but you want to do if you're going to do a mall thing, go to the big box stores, especially ones that don't have a man chair. If you put that joint in there, you make it comfortable enough. Guys won't give a shit what they're watching, what they're listening to. If they can just go sit in that thing for like 15 minutes and not be disturbed while whoever they're with shops, you're in business. I think that's where you want it. Start there.
It's a good starting spot.
I'm just saying that first thing I do when I have stuff to go to the mall, man chair. My feet hurt. I get 3 stores and my feet hurt. So usually I just go to the bar at Fridays or Ruby Tuesdays or whatever here. But if that's not possible, you got to keep going. You need the man chair. Most stores only have one, or you got to pretend to buy shoes, which really isn't that fun after a while because it's not really a shoe store usually. So you're trying on not the best shoes, let's just say. How about the stuff on the boat in Florida? We got a lot of this in the trailer again, so some of these were spoiled, but not Eli with his lady friend. I just love the way this man is living. If you look around his boat, dude's eating hamburger helper, instant rice. He's got fruit. Mostly you make drinks with. He's got like lemon, limes, coconut, pineapple, no rum ham. Slightly disappointed about that. He's got some Malibu. He's got some beers. That's pretty much how he's living. Just a lot of hats. I did not. Eli has that hair. Why does he have so many hats? That's the one thing I don't know about. Why would a man with that hair need that many hats? But if you do look closely, you do see that he has the hat he wore in the Revenge of the Nerds is one of the hats up there. So that's a cool Easter egg.
Nice. Yeah, his newfound lifestyle here on the boat is, I think it's awesome. I think it's hilarious. I thought they did it really cool. Man, he fried two really nice looking eggs too. But I thought that you get some good one-liners here with him. And this was just such a stark difference from the Eli we've seen in the first 3 seasons compared to this. That's why I think it works so well.
And I have to say, when he first started kicking the chick out, I was getting the idea like, oh yeah, I understand he's not ready for a relationship or for whatever. But when he kicks out, he does a little boot thing, and then you see him just walk and he checks the chick out. I'm like, oh no, Eli just like, and she even said like all this after we finally banged for the first time. Like, yeah, Eli really is just out
He
there
just,
doing it. I guess he really
yeah,
is sowing his royal oats, so to speak.
yep. Yep, having a cigar, soiling his oats. I mean, life could be worse, man. That's if honestly, if you live long enough and you have enough money to be lucky enough to retire, and that's your retirement, especially if you're a grieving spouse that's lost your spouse, he could do worse, man. Living on a boat in Florida Keys, yeah, that's it's not too
Hey, he's
bad.
proven the old dad joke untrue. What is it? The two happiest days of a boat owner's life are the day they buy the boat and the day they sell their boat. I think Elias found a third day,
Yeah, he has.
maybe even twice in one day. Who knows? He does look like he is doing pretty good there. Again,
Only
we
he and
saw
Dexter have done that. I think those are the only two.
setting a record, dude. Setting a record, maybe at a high school reunion even. And we saw most of the stuff where the siblings find him on the boat in the teaser. One of my complaints, but we did not get the pussy loop in the trailer, and that was, I mean, they've done something like this before, but it was still pretty funny. And I mean, just Eli broke in what, like 10 seconds?
Yeah, and of course he did. That was if that I mean that's just use that as form of torture. It's a lot more humane. And but yeah, I thought this was just so funny how they start piling on him here, man. And just the presence of Jesse and Judy and Kelvin and how they are just and the way they feed off each other here to kind of antagonize him. It's just great, man. It just works so well.
It's the only time in the whole episode where they really work together and aren't trying to outdo each other. Maybe that's really why Eli gave in. Maybe it just wasn't Calvin saying the word, although he really was not thrilled. It was Calvin who was the one who broke him. I think. I think he could probably handle Jesse saying it forever, but the other two, not so much. How about the introduction of Megan Mullally as Lori Millsap here? I thought she was pretty great. She's definitely still going to be her little line to the kid when they go to the hug. She's like, "Oh, I miss y'all little cocksuckers." I'm like, okay, so they're still gonna let Megan Mullally do her normal thing here. Nice scene when she got to do the singing. Seems like she has some good chemistry with Eli, with John Goodman. I don't. John Goodman moves pretty well for his age when he's running out there for that kiss at the end. But for the most part, I enjoyed the addition of the character. I think she will be a nice addition to the show. I can see her playing very well with Danny McBride too. I think she's an actress who's been on a million shows and done a ton of things. So I think there's a lot of potential for here to be maybe one of the better season long guest stars that we've gotten over the course of the show.
Yeah, and I love that they introduced her this early on, and obviously there's a storyline brewing between her and Eli. But right away, you kind of felt like the way she talked and the way she wasn't like a stiff or anything. She could cuss a little bit, and she could crack them up, and she could be one of the crew here. So I really excited about what they do with her from a dialogue standpoint going forward.
And everyone liked her. Uncle Baby Billy likes her. Eli likes her. All
Exactly.
the kids like her. And she seemed pretty honest about her career. You happy? No, not really. It didn't seem as she's trying to work an angle. Obviously there's always a twist in these seasons, so perhaps something happens here. But I would be perfectly happy if her character basically is just who she appears to be. I don't think I need it to be more complex this time.
Yeah, I don't think so either, and I would be totally fine with it because again, she seems like a great selection that fits in really nice. We don't need her to be like trying to secretly kill somebody or anything like that. I think that they've done that. So
Right, like yeah, she's secretly the one who that steals the gold Bible or whatever. In the flashback
right.
episode is we kind of speculated on from the rest of the season trailer. So let's not mess with that. You can bring somebody else in if you want, but I don't think we want to get her as a villain. How about Gideon as a preacher? And this was set up a little bit in the previous season. We talked about the mentoring aspect of it, but when we actually see it, it's pretty rough. I mean, Wednesday, 11 a.m. That crowd is probably prone to falling asleep anyways. So you're kind of trying to ice skate uphill. You get a little bit more with the idea that Jesse is more direct, like quit with the PowerPoint shit and everything. When Eli's just kind of like just keep it simple, trust your judgment. And again, he just seems to relate to Gideon in just an easier way, just more natural. Jesse's not wrong. Trying to mess with the index cards and the PowerPoint certainly wasn't helping, but I don't think that's what Gideon needed to hear really. And I think Eli kind of had the good stuff for him.
Yeah. Yeah. He did, and it was kind of the perfect 1-2 punch for this. It worked really well.
Little prediction here: we get a scene in the trailer with Gideon skateboarding in a suit, and we see Pontius skateboarding out front here. So I think that's going to happen, and I'm going to say he becomes like the cool skateboarding minister, like, and he starts going for the youths instead of going for the old people. You know what I mean? Because couldn't you see that? Like, oh man, look how cool is this guy? He's out there in a suit skateboarding.
Yeah, he bombed so badly, and Pontius predicted it so accurately that I'd like to see him take a new angle. And honestly, he got the good advice from well, he got decent advice from Jesse, but he got good advice from Eli too. So it'll be if it comes to him, right, and I could see him making a change there. So
I mean, you do what you know, right? And that's what he knows, being a stuntman. And that's who is that cool to? Like young dudes. Like, oh, you
yeah,
were a stuntman in Hollywood? That's awesome. Probably way more impressive, easier for him to relate, right? He can just kind of stick to what he knows, keep it simple. So there's a little bit of a prediction there. And I think we were warmed up enough to finally go baby Billy bonkers here. He's being very successful right now. It has completely gone to his head, and I love every second of it.
yeah, yeah.
He hangs dong to assert dominance. There's nothing, that's what that is, right? That is 100% just asserting dominance.
Yeah, he's yes, yes. He is in charge. You need to know which side of the family butters the bread, dude. It's him that's buttering it. And yeah, he is in all of his glory. And it's been a long time coming, dude. He always knew he was better than what he had leading up to this. And now he's the main feature of the Gemstone Empire, really. And he's making money, man. So yeah, he's got everything he's ever worked for. I'm proud of baby Billy.
I am proud of him, but I bet you he's not the greatest employer. If you look at his assistants, when he whips out the dong, they don't even flinch. They just keep doing what they're doing. The one he just grabs her, like hooks her by the waist of her jeans, brings her over to start undressing him. He just puts
Yeah.
out his hand for the cigarette. You know what I mean? It's very like you can tell they have a routine and he is demanding his shit. I hope he's at least paying him well because I wonder where that money's going, man. I wonder when he started doing the nose thing, I'm like, huh. I wonder where this is going. And then he goes full on Arthur Shelby, and I can see that
Yeah.
coming into play this season.
Yeah, I can too. And I'm there for it, man. I hope they take his character and push it even further than they have. I mean, he's just Uncle Baby Billy is just legendary in terms of character.
They got to bring him all the way down so they can bring him back up at the end of the season. I feel like he's at his high now. You got to bring him down as low as he gets in like episode 6, episode 7, and then so you can build him back up for the finale again. I think either that or just let him own Disney by the end of it all. One of the two. I don't really care which. If they just want to let him keep kind of like failing upwards, Is he just does more drugs and gets wilder and just keeps being more and more successful? I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I'm there for it.
How about the big finish here with the telethon? We've talked about some of the parts of it at all. I did like how they did present Eli is really kind of speaking from the heart, and you can tell that connected with the crowd. And meanwhile, the siblings are all trying to do their thing, talking about like, "Oh, I'm doing prayer pods, and I sing, and I have the prism thing," and back where they started a little bit before season three. So I didn't love that, but it was cool to see Eli out there, kind of just again, he's got that charisma, that magnetism, and the crowd really responded to it.
Yeah, and he was kind of honest about it. He didn't want to what thought about not coming, and he's just got that folksy feel to him that's just so relatable to everyday people, and then they're all trying to compete over who's got the better career between the three kids, which is just typical Gemstones, and it's I wouldn't expect anything else, honestly.
And sometimes it's nice you want to impress your lady friend, your guy friend, or whatever. Who impressed the other more here? You got Eli doing that sermon and talking to the crowd, and you see Lori watching him, and she's like, hmm. But then you have our Judy, and she's watching BJ work that pole. Which one of those men impressed the lady more? Was it BJ working the pole or Eli working the stage?
What was funnier was, dude, I'm gonna go with the funniest is the answer, dude. I'm gonna go with BJ working the pole. It's all about core strength, man. That's hard to do.
I love that they landed on this, and the actors talked about he really had to get in all shape to do this, and you can tell by a lot of the shots the way they are that he really is doing a lot of this work. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming most of the other people, the women in the scene, again, it's funny, it's all women and him, but they do this professionally. I'm assuming so. The fact that he can even at least come close to keeping up with them is pretty great, and he gets his one line here, but. More importantly, I think this is just going to be a gold situation for Judy. She is going to be able to just have all kinds of fun. I don't know how many pole jokes and euphemisms and references there are in the world, but I think she's going to find at least 75% of them in this season.
Yeah, I think this is such a great and brilliant way to get Judy and BJ together, doing all the things we love that we learned works with them over the previous three seasons. And it's in such a great setting where you get all the sexual innuendo stuff from pole dancing. You get all the other women that are there doing it. You get Judy in all her glory. I think this is just going to be awesome throughout the entire season. I cannot wait to see where they go with this storyline.
We know it's going to continue because we got the scenes in the trailer from a pole dancing championship. So we know BJ is going to take it, push it to the limit here, and that is going to be absolutely great. Did you like the fact that Eli and Lori hooked up here at the end of the episode? We got that little scene with them in the dressing room, and it was kind of the will they won't they, the funny bit with the handshake, and then Eli chasing her down was definitely a trope, a little bit corny, but you know what? He's looking for something, and I hope he finds it.
Yeah, man. I hope he does too. And I think he didn't want anything serious until he saw her, I think. And you could see him maybe finding love. And how great would it be if they end the season where Eli gets at Eli's wedding and everybody's happy and he finally gets his love and the universe is right now because of it all. Like I think that would be a great ending point. So yeah, I'm there for it.
I just assumed it was going to be like a ghost thruple situation or something like that, possibly.
Well, but you never
I mean,
know.
it's a final season. I mean, you can't leave any stone unturned. I thought it was interesting that they ended the episode where they did. Obviously they're working the jetpacks and Jesse is having trouble with it. Nice funny bit when he's stepping on people's heads. But then he decides he's going to rise to the top, right? He goes all the way and he almost gets to that disco ball, and that's where they cut. Is there a chance we're going to come back and the aftermath of like an accident and people are dead or something because that jetpack went to hell? Or is it going to. It was just a weird. They usually don't cut quite like that, right? It was almost. I don't know if it was an intentional cliffhanger, but if they picked up the next episode right at that moment, it wouldn't shock me. It felt just a touch odd right there because you're really wondering what's going to happen. And I guess you could skip it for budget purposes or something, but I don't know. I don't know if anything good would happen with him trying to get that high based on what we saw with the jetpacks leading up to that.
Well, and that's why they're all like, "You're an idiot, Jesse. Don't do it." I think it was just kind of like his call to a higher
Oh,
power
he was
there.
trying to assert dominance. Like it was his version, of hanging it out there to a certain extent.
A little bit of a hidden meaning there, where he was chasing the higher power, and after all, that is what they do, right? And so I don't know. He was feeling himself a little bit there, and for whatever reason, I don't think it's. I think that's the end of it. We won't see it again,
So
But
nothing
yeah,
happened. He just went rose high and it was cool, and then came back down and everything was fine.
yeah, service was over and that's it. And we pick up wherever
So
episode.
okay, the odds are you are correct, but just based on and he especially had the most trouble with the jetpack, right? The other two seemed to at least be kind of competent. He was screwing up every time, even in the background when Lori and Eli are talking, and you can kind of see and hear them a little bit in the background. He's doing the same thing. He's trying to rise up high, and it's not going well. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that it just tickled me. It's just a touch odd, and I noticed it. So I just wanted to point that out. Just maybe I'll be proven very smart, and if not, everyone will forget it. So there's really no risk involved for me here. So that's all. I'm really just focusing on me.
Yeah, well,
It's very
that's a
gemstone
good.
to me, I feel.
There's the gemstone in you. Mills, this week we got the typical long gemstones title, and you hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas. It is absolutely a mouthful, but that's kind of what the gemstones do here. I mean, it's time to turn the other cheek. I want you to offer us a couple of alternative episode titles, and maybe they can just be, I don't know, 4 or 5 less words.
Not even 4 or 5 words, just 4 or 5 less words. I believe you set the bar low enough for me to get over it successfully. Number three, gonna do a little bit of a double entendre here. The pull of the pole. Are we talking about Eli? Are we talking about BJ? Are we talking about the magnetic North Pole? Jesse trying to rise to the top of the world? I don't know, but either way, there is a pull and it is pulling. Number two, time surely has been kind to you. Yes, you could say that about Lori, but can't you say that about Uncle Baby Billy, about Eli Gemstone? These men, maybe it's not the bottom of the ninth, two out, but these men are definitely not still in the first half of their lives, and they are just hanging dong. They have long, beautiful flowing hair. They're 69ing for 40 minutes, Jamie G. I think time surely has been kind to them. And number one, focus on your own stabilization because that's what everyone is doing here, right? It seems that even Keith and Kelvin, he's maybe the most successful of the siblings right now, but he's still just, he wants to keep it stable, but Keith wants to do his thing. He's got the prayer pods, but maybe Potts is going to screw that up. Everyone is trying to focus on everything. Instead, they should probably just be focusing on their own stabilization. So those are the three: the pull of the pole, time surely has been kind to you, and focus on your own stabilizations.
We cannot have other gemstone fans walking around in just some regular ass shopping mall clothes. What y'all need is some righteous merchandise.
We have two this week. First off, we're just going to help out an old flick. I mean, you haven't watched Castaway in a long time, right? Maybe what they need is a new t shirt. So we have Tom Hanks in the one by himself. So you just got a nice little t-shirt here. You got Tom Hanks. You got Wilson. So maybe he's not completely by himself, but that is, maybe I don't know if they need to retitle the movie. Just do a new poster, do a new t-shirt, get rid of Castaway, bring in the one by himself. And then for the next one here, I think you got to start the season out with something classic, something easy. So we're going to go with the Gemstone roll call, and we're going to use the picture of them on their boat in their boating gear because they look, it's nice. They're all dressed the same way. None of the outfits are as good as Uncle Baby Billy's, but we can't have all the merchandise be about Uncle Baby Billy. So we just got the Gemstone roll call there, setting us up. It's the first load in for the season. The loads are going to get bigger and better each time. So stay tuned for more righteous merchandise.
When the shit goes down, heaven help you, because you know that the gemstones are going to hit you with both barrels.
Jamie G, I have to say, Calvin posed a very interesting question.
If they were to play a quick round of putting the pipe with each other in front of the audience before they made that tiger jump through the fire, would the entire audience stick around for the show?
I think it would depend on whether or not the 2:30 was different than the 7:30. If they're totally different, I would probably stick around.
Rand McPherson, everybody. Just remember the 9:30 show is completely different from the 7:30 show. Enjoy the meal.
In this jetpack shit, we see a lot of it. It's not going to end well, is it?
We ain't never done no damn jetpacks before.
Until today, I never thought I'd outlive my kids.
Go sit on a hot car hood, you cunt.
Would you stop being weird?
We're just doing teases. Dang.
And dude, Jamie G, what the hell did Luke Perry ever do to Uncle Baby Billy?
Don't be jealous, Eli,
Jealous of what?
that I'm Tyler Perry and you ain't. You more like Luke Perry, dead.
Say what you will about his acting, there's one thing that Luke Perry always had going for him.
At least you still got your hair.
Oh, poor Gideon, man. He reminded me of my last job in middle management.
There was more slides, but I think we got it.
I remember what they asked me when I quit that job.
Why do you need hobbies and shit?
And then they followed that up with,
if you don't like me, you can just say.
and then you know what I said?
I don't like you.
I mean, why on earth wouldn't anybody want to just work from home?
I enjoy a margarita or two. It's part of the lifestyle out here.
And I think we figured out how Eli was making ends meet in Florida.
We 69 for 40 minutes straight.
He always did have a big mouth. Made a lot of money with it, though.
And just in case you think Eli's gone soft, let's see how he feels about the Pontius situation.
Citadel was stricter on me because of my family name. It's the only reason I got expelled.
And for once, they were right.
Uncle Baby Billy is usually on point, but just this once, I might have questions.
People in this family need to recognize which side of the bread's got butter on it.
Are you not buttering both sides of the bread? I mean, isn't bread just basically a butter delivery system? Why would you just butter one side of the bread? This is blowing my mind. Heaven help you, Jamie G, if you're only buttering the bread on one side.
Maybe he's making grilled cheese, but even then, I think you got to do the other. Well, that's another piece of bread.
You
but...
can almost never have too much butter, especially in a non-baking scenario.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Butter is pretty much awesome. It's time to drop a gem on him. Mills, go ahead and drop your favorite quote from the episode on us.
Oh, man, there are a couple of them, but I feel like I gotta go with one from Uncle Baby Billy, so I'm gonna go with Uncle Baby Billy, make a little bit of baseball reference.
Yeah, we think he's going through, like, a midlife thing or something.
Midlife? That motherfucker's older than me. He ain't halfway through nothing.
Okay.
Bottom of the ninth, 2 out. Midlife. He wishes he was midlife. Fuck Eli Gemstone.
Jamie G, I know it's hard to beat Uncle Baby Billy. Are you going to go back to the well with some Uncle Baby Billy, or you got something else for us?
There was so many to choose. This episode was filled with hilarious quotes, but I'm going to go with Judy, man.
Ooh, god dang, beach. Watching you work that pole's got me slick, boy. About to start finger dancing on my snapdrags.
Just so Danny McBride and so hilarious coming from Judy and her delivery, dude. She's just, I could not stop laughing at this. So funny.
Never heard it referred to as a snapdrags before, I don't think. That might be a first for me. That's maybe that's what they used to these days.
Yeah. Oh, got me slick, boys. I want someone to tell me that just once. That's awesome.
I've heard you think you're slick, boy, but not, you got me slick.
You got me slick, boy.
I know a dude named Slick, but no, this is a.
And I wish I had a friend that was BJ so I could call him Beige. That's just such an awesome. That's just, yeah, dang.
It's your own BJ and the Bear joke, I guess, somewhere in there.
Something's in there. It's not all romancing on this show. We can be righteous when we need to be. So get ready for our righteous moments, our favorite moments from this episode.
Oh man, Jamie G, please the court here. Can we just say that Uncle Baby Billy hanging dong and asserting his dominance is far and away, that's number one, because I think we'll both say that, right? So let's just assume that. We'll enter that into the record that Uncle Baby Billy hanging dong in front of the siblings, that's number one. So we'll go with our secondary scenes.
Motion granted.
I figured that was a no-brainer. In second one, I'm going to just go with where you got your quote from there. That scene with BJ and Judy at the pole dancing facility place, whatever. Everything in that is gold. Every single line, every single moment, every single shot. Pure and utter gold. So you got gold right there. It's spinning it everywhere. Are you going to double up on the double up here, or do you have a different alt?
No, that's it. I'm doubling.
Those are the two best scenes. So
they are. They absolutely are.
Just for third, all right, Eli kicking the chick out of the boat there, just to get something different in there. That was fun too.
That was very fun.
All right, man. Let's go ahead, bust out our jeweler's loop, the one we stole from Mars Eye Larry, and use it to evaluate the episode. We grade each episode of Gemstones on a scale of 0 to 100 gemstones. Not that creative, but still very useful. Jamie G, get us started here, man. For the episode with the mouthful title, You Hurled Me into the Very Heart of the Seas.
I'm pretty high on this one, Mills. I'm going to go ahead and give it 96 gemstones. I basically loved it. It was hilarious. Everything I wanted out of an episode. I know that we saw some of it in the trailer, but I'm okay with it because it was a good time, man. I was able to kind of, it didn't matter to me as much because I was still laughing and hysterical. And maybe it's because it's been a while since I saw the trailer, so it worked out pretty well.
Right, up 11. He gave 85 to the season premiere. I was a little bit higher on the premiere. I went with 87. I'm going to bump it up a little bit here, up to 89. Very funny, still very much a setup episode, but again, at least two scenes that were absolute solid gold. Tons of funny lines, so I'm not really going to penalize it too much, but I am probably knocking it a gem or two because we did get a lot of the jokes and a lot of setup in the trailer. That's good because that means most of the episodes going forward are unspoiled, but unfortunately, it meant a lot of times, you even got a couple of the good payoff lines. So, trailer, it's really tough to give you a good one without ruining stuff, but it did mean when I watched the episode, some of the jokes maybe didn't land quite as hard as I could have, but still very good. So, 89 from me, 96 from Jamie G. A nice 92 average there. That's plenty of gemstones to get you by.
That brings us to the righteous ratings. This is how we determine our episode MVP. Mills, break down how this thing works.
We have a big old spreadsheet and we rate each character on it in a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the most. So you get 5 points all the way down to 1 point. And the categories we rate them in are getting shit done. Pretty simply, in this episode, did they get shit done? Their home life, how are things going at home in their relationships? Their career goals, how are things going at work? The don't be a fuck up category, which is just like it sounds. Don't be that guy or gal who ruins everything. And then finally, and maybe most importantly, the funny factor. How entertaining were they in the episode? Jamie G and I went through, rated all the characters in each of these categories on the scale of 1 to 5, and we are going to give you our top 5. Shout out to Keith. He was the first man out, coming in at number 6. 3.5 overall in the rating. Not too bad, but not quite enough to get into the top 5. At 5, we have Jesse Gemstone. Very balanced, but being carried by a perfect 5 in the funny category. Both very much enjoying him. So he's got a rating of 3.6. That's at number 5. At number 4, Kelvin. Very balanced, but being propped up by his job for once. Usually the job's bringing him down a little bit. Almost a perfect 5 there at 4.5. Definitely helping overcome only the 3 in the funny. So that's a 3.8 rating. He's at number 4. At number 3, we have BJ. Things are trending up for BJ. Remember last season, he was getting cucked a little bit. He was needing to stand up for himself. He is on the rise, almost perfect at home. He is not fucking up. He is funny. BJ's at a 3.9 rating. That's number 3 overall. At number 2, we have Judy. Yeah, maybe she's not the gemstone getting the most done at work, and maybe she's not getting a lot done. She's just helping BJ out. But be damned, she's not fucking up. She's funny. She's got the good home life going with BJ. That's a 4.0 rating. So she is number 2 and number 1. No real shocker here. Uncle Baby Billy, 4.4 rating. Perfect 5 in every category except home. We both knocked him in the home category because it feels like he might be running into trouble on that front with Tiff giving the rate at which he's hanging dong, assaulting assistants, and doing cocaine. It seems like somehow that might come into a negative impact on the home life at some point, but we love our Uncle Baby Billy. He is dominating right now. That's the top 5. Uncle Baby Billy, Judy Gemstone, BJ, Kelvin, and Jesse. The siblings are very well representative, but a lot of season to go here. We'll see how they move.
That was awesome. Thank you, Mills, for doing that. This isn't Severance, but we do still enjoy speculating on what's coming up next on Gemstones. We will be referring to the teaser for the episode. So if you want to avoid being spoiled on that, you can go ahead and bail now. We'll catch you next week. Make sure you throw the thumb and subscribe before you do, and we'll see you then. However, everyone else that wants to indulge, Mills, let us know about season 4, episode 3.
Once again, we've got a mouthful of a title, To Grieve Like the Rest of Men Who Have No Hope. Once again, written by the trio, John Carcieri, Jeff Fradley, and Danny McBride. Do not know who the director is, but we have a short plot synopsis. As rivals invade Gemstone Land, Jesse plans retaliation while Kelvin gets recognized. All right, well, we'll watch the joint real quick here. It's only So, a little good news, bad news. We're getting more stuff that we've seen in the trailer, but they're expanding on it. But very, very good news. We're getting throne room scenes again. That was one of our favorite settings back in season 3. They all have their own throne there. You have all their little golden things on the wall behind them. And we're getting a little bit more of the mentoring thing. So maybe Uncle Baby Billy's going to get involved. Couldn't you see him coming in? He's like, "Oh, you think you can mentor? Now I'm going to mentor Gideon." I can see Uncle Baby Billy
I'm
coming
your
in. Just,
mentor
Eli,
now.
Eli can't be mentor. Eli's almost dead. I'm your
I could
mentor.
absolutely see that. And I'm your mentor now, dude. And who knows? He's probably got something else to pitch, man. I missed the pitching sessions. Him pitching Uncle Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers was one of the funniest
Well, we
things.
know we're gonna get he's gonna pitch the Teen Jesus show. We do know that at some point,
Right.
so that's coming. So we
Hopefully
are
that
gonna
happens
get
in the
one.
throne room.
Oh yeah, we need that to happen in the throne room. I guess. What do you think's gonna happen? Is Uncle Baby Billy gonna give Coke to Pontius, or is Pontius gonna steal it?
Ooh, he's gonna steal it. He's gonna steal it.
It feels like it's got to happen, right? That just seems destined to happen. Unfortunately, there.
He may get Uncle Baby Billy may give it to Jesse though. That would be fun. We could see that happening.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
then
Jesse had
Pontius
his
steals it
fun.
from Jesse. That's probably what. That's probably more likely.
See, Jesse had his fun in season 1, though. I don't know if he already got that kind of one get out of jail free card for that. I don't know if he can go back to the well this soon for it. Again, we did see some of the stuff in the trailer, but it looks like we're going to get more cape and pistols, so that is always a very good time. I'm curious as to where they go with the Simpkins plot. I think that's going to be we saw a little burning and car bombing and stuff like that in the trailer, so I'm assuming that's going to escalate. I would like to see maybe him use the prayer pods against him somehow. I mean, they're building these new churches, so he just starts putting prayer pods for free out front or something. I don't know, some way to mess with them. I do like this idea. It's always better when they're feuding with somebody or something like that. I don't know if we're going to get something cool like Cycle Ninjas again, but I would like a little bit of a mystery and a little bit of a conflict here.
I'm with you on that. I think it works well, and it just raises the stakes a little bit, which it works with this show. We've kind of seen it in the past.
It seems like every season we get some sort of Gideon chase driving thing. Could he be getting maybe like a Marty McFly like skateboard scene this year?
That would be incredible.
I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
we
think, how
did
do they
see
top
that.
the monster truck, man? They had him on the bike, they had him in the monster truck. Like, how do you top that? Skateboard.
Yeah, I mean hoverboard for sure, but I don't know if we're gonna get hoverboard.
They had jetpacks, dude. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
you
true.
combine a jetpack with a skateboard, maybe? I mean, it's not quite hovering, but you could
That's
strap
true.
it to
We
your
did
feet
have
like a
jetpacks.
snowboard, maybe, and like so you could like jump over stuff by using the little boost from the jetpack. I mean, he's a stunt man. It's not about. I'm saying somehow the jetpacks tie into the finale or a big action sequence at some point. Like they're going to bust the jetpacks out outside of the show, the telethon or whatever, inside the service. Like somehow the jetpacks are going out in the wild. They're going to get utilized. Calling it now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. We've seen this with McBride before. He definitely used something similar and Eastbound and Down on the water and stuff. So I could see him utilizing something
Dude,
here.
we saw Uncle Baby Billy on a jet ski at one point. Could we have a jetpack on a jet ski? Is that too much? I mean,
No, I mean it sounds awesome. And who could handle that other than a coked up Uncle Baby Billy, dude? I mean, I don't know.
or a stuntman Gideon's got a chance to. I
He's
mean,
got a chance, but it's
I don't know. I think that's probably one of those things. Like stuntmen are probably better after just like an X number of beers and maybe just a little drugs. I guess you have to know how to mix them correctly, but I think that could be fun. Once you bring jetpacks into the mix, I think it would just be teasing if they don't somehow come back around. I feel. Same thing with the prayer pods. They're setting a lot of stuff up here, so you feel like Pontius has got to do something. Not quite sure what it is. Do you think the kids are going to be cool when they find out about Eli and Lori maybe being in a relationship? You think they're going to take it okay, or they're going to do the usual thing where they get all upset and then eventually they come around to it?
I think that's it. I mean, they set up this idea of him not having any romantic interest or loin servicing needs, right? I mean, they kind of made that point really clear in this past episode. So I think they have to be upset when they find out, and they're going to find out. And my guess is they're going to find out in very embarrassing fashion.
It would be too much for Eli to get her pregnant, right? To knock her up, that would be a little bit too much.
Yeah, that might be it. You're
Well,
having
it was
brother.
referred to. You keep talking about the dried up. Oh yeah, it's up with Mama in heaven. That would be like the total Alanis Morissette, the Alanis alert there with the irony of that. I don't really want to bring another kid. Usually adding a baby onto the show isn't really, but at the end like this, you really wouldn't have to pay it off. She could just end the season pregnant or something. I don't know. I could probably deal with it.
Porta Potty Baby would be, Uncle
Well,
Baby.
just because then he would jump over Jesse, right? And like, or you know what I mean? Like, or whatever, it'd be a new possible heir or something like. There's
Right.
probably a way that you could make it. I don't think they're going to go there, but they dealt enough around the balls and stuff like this. It just maybe it's somebody. Maybe that means it'll be Judy. We just don't have that many females on the show, so if they're going to do something, it's probably got to be one of them that we know. Tiff's already been pregnant. I don't think Amber's going back there, so we're running out of options. Hey, it should be a good season, man. Last year they set it up with a monster truck. This year it's jetpacks. I mean, they need a cool jetpack song then too, I feel, because they had the Redeemer song to go with the monster truck. So if we're going to do a jetpack thing, I feel we need a good song with it.
Going to be a great season of Gemstones. We'll be romancing them all season long. Make sure you throw the thumb and subscribe so you don't miss a single bit of it. Appreciate you guys. It's so much fun to talk about this hilarious show, and we can't do it without you. Go ahead and drop us some comments on how you like this one. Let me know your favorite quote from this one. A bunch of good ones out there. We'll see you guys on the flip side.
Oh, yeah. We would like your favorite Uncle Baby Billy quotes and your favorite jetpack predictions and theories. Those would be excellent. Thank you for being excellent people and checking out this episode of Romancing the Gemstones presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff. And you can find us on the internet at dudeswatchstuff.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, remember to hit the thumb. I'm Magna Mills. He's Jamie G. And remember, live your best possible life by living it big, Uncle Baby Billy style.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. They're loving it. Let's go higher.
Oh, Jesse, the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah, Jesse, this is high enough.
Then let me ride.